turned on to take your mind off your condition and provide some escape for the mind in your otherwise deactivated condition. A few hours after the departure of your august visitors, you open your eyes, and there, beamed live, are your erstwhile visitors, participating in chieftaincy jollification just a few hundred miles away, red hot from your sick bed. Again, a few hours later, the same leadership is at a campaign rally where the chief custodian of the people's welfare is complaining about an inside job, complaining that someone allegedly diverted his campaign funds to unauthorized use. That national leader then rounds up his outing with a virtuoso set of downscapers that would put Michael Jackson to shame. That is all I ask of you, simply to undertake that exercise in human empathy, asking the question, as that victim, what would you think? How would you feel? That is all. Would you, playing back in your mind the reel of that august visitation, would you feel perhaps that the visit itself was a sham? That those sorrowing visitors were merely posing for political photo shots? That the faces were studiously composed, their minds in reality already on their next engagement on the political dance floor? Or would you feel, on the contrary, that this was the time that a nation led by her president should be in sackcloth and ashes, figuratively speaking, of course, but I know some people change costumes for every day, so I try sackcloth and ashes just for a change, sort of. So let us bear in mind that that dismal day in Nyanya went beyond a harvest of body parts, of which yours could very easily have been part. That there was also the dilemma of 200 school children, some of whom could very easily have been your own, disappearing under violent conditions. Would you think that perhaps, in place of the dance floor, the national leader should have been holding round-the-clock emergency meetings on the recovery of those children, mobilizing the entire nation, and by entire, I mean entire nation, including the encouragement of volunteers for backup duties to the military, annunciating the complete rout of the prolonged season of denial, the total transformation of leadership mentality in the nature of responses to the abnormalities that are never absent, even in the most developed nations. If you require models of simple, common sense responses, not even the responses of experts, then look towards South Korea. That tragic ferry disaster that overcame school children on an outing was not even a case of deliberate criminal assault on our humanity. It was simply a human failing, probably, very likely, of culpable criminal negligence, but not part of a deliberate act of community destabilization. This was a frontal, in-your-face assault. Today's media, that is yesterday, carried the headline banners that nearly 200 children are still missing. Even if it were 20, 10, 1, is this the time for dancing or for silent reading? What is the relevance of a re-election campaign in such circumstances, where the articulated priority is the internal inside job pilfering by some former party faithful who become disillusioned and dissident? Will then the yardstick for eligibility be the ability to dance to Sonny Ade or Dan Maraya? The entire world looks at us with eyes brimful of tears. We, however, look in the mirror and break into a dance routine. What on earth is this as this thing, this blotched bottle space become anyway, that some still have the courage and the fidelity to wave a green, white, green rag called the flag and belt out one of the most unimaginative tunes that aspires to call itself an anthem? It's a dirge. It is only a dirge. And what we call a flag is the shroud that now hovers over a people who are even incapable of the dignity of self-examination, confrontation, self-indictment, which would then be a summons to self-correction and self-restitution, if leadership were indeed attuned to the responsibilities of leadership. To sum up, one would rationally expect that the leadership mind belatedly applying to the cautionary history such as your fatwa does not apply here, will courageously emulate the Algerians and even alter its reading to your fatwa will not apply here. This would address a fraction of the enormity of the task in which this nation is embroiled. I personally fail to reconcile the lead role played by President Jonathan in this nation in a Go Hotel some years ago in the erstwhile campaign of Bring Back the Book that took place to such fanfare. I was a participant. I now find it difficult not to accept it as just another performance to the delectation of the walking wounded, the walking dead of Nyanya massacre, and the missing fact of our children. Today, we shall not even be so demanding as to resurrect the slogan, Bring Back the Book. Leave that to us. It will be quite sufficient to be seen displaying 100% commitment towards the urgent cry of Bring Back the Pupils. Emperor Nero only fiddled while Rome burned. I don't recall any record of him dancing to his own tune. There is nonetheless an expression for that kind of dance. It is known as the dance macabre, and we all know what that expression portends. Thank you very much.
Another perspective to the problem of reading and the reading culture in Nigeria. The problem of education or militating against education in Nigeria, that of the insurgency in the northeast that has taken its toll not only on schools, on education, on books, on reading, but also on the students, the pupils themselves. A speech ably delivered by Professor Wole Soyinka, Nobel laureate.
It is not just a speech. He has spoken what you all have been thinking, and he has spoken. We crave his indulgence for those who are asking if we can get this keynote lecture photocopied and given out to people to read. That is the request, Prof. When fanaticism is desirable, Friedrich Nietzsche. While he was given the keynote, I went back to the archives to say that phlegmatic natures can be inspired to enthusiasm only by being made into fanatics. And that is a major problem in our country for those of them who believe that they need to be fanatics. Honored guests, we have our children there. We're not bringing back the book. We're asking for them to bring back the pupil, to bring back the children, bring them back to us. It is compulsory that we need to see them here. Ladies and gentlemen, it's a sad note. It is something that we do believe will happen. And Port Harcourt, as a book capital, trying to show the world that we are what we are, but also because there were school children that were taken away. It will be very erroneous on our own part not to showcase, not to stand by it. Therefore, I would like to invite from Rainbow Book Club, the project director and chairperson board of trustees to please come forward. To speak. We're live on TV and for the whole world to hear.
Thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, it's just unbelievable how God works out his purpose. We had no idea what Prof was going to speak to, but we had, as part of this program, a session to call on all of you to stand with us in solidarity for the school girl